what we were saying, Prime Minister, how can he blame the opposition?
Right.
He did not refuse to act, refused to respond, and he did not even come for the all-party meeting.
Right.
It was his arrogance and his obduracy
Which
that the
has
GST
costed
bill,
the nation the GST.
no, and which costed the GST first for all these years. And if the monsoon session was a washout, he should do some introspection.
Right.
You know, it is very clear that he has a confrontationist mindset. The same mindset when he was campaigning for the elections.
Right.
Now he should remember that as Prime Minister, he and his government have a primary responsibility to engage respectfully and constructively with the opposition. We are the authors of the GST
Right.
bill.
So how should that be done? How do you think the deadlock can be broken? Because we are nowhere different from what we were on the last day of the monsoon session.
Nothing has shifted, and I don't think this Prime Minister is sincere in engaging in a correct manner with the opposition. Otherwise, he won't be berating, criticizing and abusing on a daily basis. He has to, that's what we say, he has to shed this arrogance and this confrontationist mindset. If he doesn't do that, the opposition is helpless. What can the opposition do?
The opposition is where it was, but sir, there is a sense that a lot of people get that on the land bill there was a moral victory for the Congress. Shouldn't it now really bury the hatchet, become sort of large-hearted and let the GST go?
GST is not the only issue before this country. We are very clear. Executive accountability is far more important than one bill.
Right.
We cannot allow this government to get away with the brazen defiance and also with its double standards and hypocrisy. We authored the GST. GST will get passed. This government has made changes which are not acceptable to us.
Right.
So we have registered our views, our concerns. The right way forward should have been for the Prime Minister and the government to engage with the Congress and with the other opposition parties.
But they say they have done so a lot many times. Meaningfully they have done
Meaningfully what? That please come for the session and get this bill passed.
Right.
Is the Parliament of India a rubber stamp? And are the opposition leaders mere petitioners in the Prime Minister's court?
Okay.
He has to take our concerns on board. Because after all, what we are saying is in the interest of the country.
Right.
You cannot have a GST which will put excessive burden on the economy, particularly on the entrepreneur, also on the consumers, and raise the transaction costs to a level which would make the Indian manufacturing industry and exports uncompetitive. So how does he ensure that, and the government, that the GST is kept within manageable limits and also at par with the international threshold?
Right.
Now, there is no assurance, there is no clarity, much work is required to be done. Then we have said there is no justification in that 1% cascading tax, that's the surcharge, when the states are being compensated for the revenue losses.
Right.
Also, how can they justify keeping petroleum out?
Right.
Means we are a net importer of crude.
You have registered these complaints.
No, these are issues. Why I'm saying so, you cannot bring in a GST which creates more complications and actually escalates the transaction costs.
Fair enough.
Another issue is, when we say petroleum products, that's the biggest multiplier when it comes to transaction costs. If you have different prices for diesel, it varies from state to state. What kind of a genuine common market are you creating?
Fair enough.
Then you're keeping alcohol out.
Yeah.
Why?
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.